ESPN Plus and the Sun Belt Conference welcomes you to this unique coast-to-coast clash of college football programs and the first-of-its-kind partnership with Marvel Comics as James Madison hosts Washington State. Ranked 21st by the Associated Press and 22nd by the coaches, JMU wraps up its regular season home slate while seeking a 9th consecutive win and the 10th overall this season. Washington State has made its second trip to the Commonwealth, having played an hour east of here a little over a month ago, falling to Virginia's Cavaliers 22-20. It's been an up-and-down campaign for the Cougs, who would like to head back to Pullman with their 6th victory under their first-year head coach, Jimmy Rogers. It's a matchup made by conference realignment. We'll find out today who the superheroes will be for today's encounter. Hello, everyone. He is Brian Barlow, former tight end for the Dukes of James Madison, and I'm Kurt Dudley. We'll join David Halvey on the sideline in just a moment. Check your calendar. Yeah, it is November. This is a non-conference game, however, Brian, but it is one that has relevance for both programs.
It does. Washington State needs to win one out of the next two to get bowl eligible. Now, for James Madison, they've already clinched the Sun Belt Championship game, and they are confident they're going to host it in 2 weeks. But they are not in the college football playoff rankings, and the only way to change that is to win today.
Dukes and the Cougars, first time these programs have ever met. Let's take you down to the field level and check in with our sideline reporter today, David Halvey. David?
Hey, Kurt, I can tell you guys today, controlling the football, that's priority number one. James Madison, second in the nation in a time of possession. Washington State, they're 19th in the country. And for head coach Jimmy Rogers in Washington State, progress has not necessarily been linear for his squad, but he said the focus today, staying locked into your job. For the Dukes and head coach Bob Chesney, he emphasized the importance of a fast start. He said we cannot allow Washington State to have a grinded out style of play. So again, it goes back to the point, who's going to control the football more?
Both these teams do like to run the football. We'll give you some of those comparisons of the numbers. Both defenses are very good. They're some of the best in the country. In fact, the offense, well, favored James Madison just a slight bit, and we'll show you the numbers. I'll tell you those numbers that may bear out in today's contest. The Dukes and the Cougars. Again, the Cougars flying across the country for the second time. The Pac-12, of course, is being rejuvenated, if you would, as this ball is out of the end zone. And so Washington State in need of a game. James Madison said, hey, come here. It's a one-game deal. And it's really a great entry. This is actually the largest program from a Power 4, if you would, or Power 5, to ever play here at Bridgeport Stadium.
It is. It's awesome to host a big team like this, a big program over here in Harrisonburg in Bridgeport Stadium for the JMU program.
So Washington State, as James Madison won the toss and elected to defer, Zevi Eckhouse is the starting quarterback. He won the job a few games into the season. A transfer from Bryant, a former Big South Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year. And he has his offense starting it at the 25-yard line. The Dukes in the purple tops here today. That's over the middle. Ball is hauled in by Tony Freeman, a 5'8", 171-pound junior from Richmond, California, and a safety, Tyler Brown, as well as linebacker Drew Spinagati, come in to bring him down.
Nice job by Tony Freeman there to just find the hole in the zone, stop, catch the ball, and get upfield.
Freeman, 4 catches for 31 yards last week, and that's almost, that catch there gives him 5 yards. That puts him up to 397 on the season, so about to break that 400 mark. In motion goes the tight end, actually. That's Trey Lechner on this left side, and the running play picks up a first down, so 2 plays and 5 yards apiece as Spinagati again gets in there to make the tackle for James Madison after the gain of 6 on the play. When we talk to the coaches of James Madison and scouting this team from Washington State, Brian, I think every one of them independently said tough, tough, tough.
Hard-nosed about multiple players in the team. Eckhouse, Voorhees, every coach had said it. And you can see it on both sides of the ball as well, offensively and defensively.
If you remember the FCS days and South Dakota State, as the quarterback will hang on to the football this time, and that's exactly what James Madison needs to do, is bottle things up on the first down play as Amar Thomas gets off the edge to bring down the quarterback. He will run the ball, particularly when they get down inside the red zone. Oh, beg your pardon, it was the running back that carried it this time. Voorhees.
Yeah, they did a little shift there right at the last second. Direct snap to Voorhees. Great play by Amar Thomas to get off the block.
But it is a 2nd down and 12. In motion goes Thomas, rolling out. Here's some pressure underneath. He finds his tight end. There's the type of hit and the yards after the contact for Washington State. I was about to say, South Dakota State, if you're familiar with that program, this is what you might see here tonight for Washington State. Their head coach, Jimmy Rogers, played there. He was there. They have 75 new players on this roster wearing this particular uniform, but 17 of those wore the Jackrabbits uniform a season ago.
And Coach Jimmy Rogers really emphasized how important it was that brought stability to their program immediately, along with all the seniors on this team, as this team has improved as the year went on.
Offense 35% on 3rd down completions. Jacob Thomas comes up and helps to wrap him up. And that's going to come shy of the 1st down. There is a flag on the play. It's on the far side.
State. It's the first of the game. 4th down.
Did you see what the penalty was on there? Do not.
I did not, but I'm looking at Jacob Thomas here. Looks like he's got a little shoulder something going on here. This game is going to be physical. I mean, we can already see it in this first drive. That tight end really brought the house on that. That was a big hit right there.
Ryan Harris is the punter. And last week, 5 punts for an average of 41 yards. He averages 40.8 per game. Wayne Knight back to receive for the Dukes, but he will not get an opportunity on the first try today as the ball settles at the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 Dukes at the 20, and Alonzo Barnett and company will come out for James Madison. This is a James Madison offense that is 14th in the country in scoring, 37.1. 7th in rushing, 242 yards a game. 19th in total offense, 457. And 6th nationally in 3rd down conversions, 52.2. But this is also a good Wazoo defense, ranked 34th in scoring, 14th in passing, 18th in total offense, and 55th in 3rd down conversion. So the 3rd downs is one thing that James Madison can see as a pivotal point in today's contest. Barnett over 2,000 yards passing. He hands the ball off first today, and that goes to Wayne Knight as Parker McKenna comes in to make the tackle for the Cougars.
Wayne Knight with great patience there, really waiting for his blocks to develop and then get a 4-yard gain there. And then, of course, not surprised that the McKenna makes the tackle for Washington State. He's all over the field.
A gain of 4. And Knight will split out to the far left side. 3 receivers to the near side for Barnett, who passed for over 300 yards last weekend. Underneath, ball is tipped, and it is interception on the deflection. And Wazoo comes up with a big stop here earlier.
An interception. 1st down, Washington State.
Caleb Fransel comes up with the INT deep inside James Madison territory, as that was off the shoulder of the intended receiver over the middle.
Just a little outside the reach for Isaiah Alston there. Huge play. This is an impact play in this game already. Great play, great interception by Caleb Fransel. This is a spark for this Washington State team.
No doubt about it. James Madison's defense is 11th in the country in scoring, allowing only 16.2 points per game. And JMU typically gets off to a much better start than its opponents. 73-30 the scoring in the opening period. But James Madison's defense will be pressed here early. 2 receivers that is, to the top of the screen. One here down towards the James Madison side in motion. And the pass is lofted out to Tony Freeman, driven out of bounds, raced out by Justin Eaglin. It's a gain of 5 yards on the play, so they've had a couple of really good 1st down calls already in this first quarter.
Yeah, just a nice motion and a slide route into the flat. Very efficient play for 5 yards.
A big turnover early for James Madison. That actually puts JMU at -1 on turnover margin this year, and it helps Washington State now at -8. The pass, and that is a little mistimed. Something didn't go quite right there. And that sets up a 3rd down at the 26-yard line.
Just a quick out route by Josh Meredith. Little off the mark on the pass there by Eckhouse.
It's Washington State offense averages 21 points a game. That's 113th in the country. Rushing 110 yards a game, 94 passing. Third down at the 26. The pass, and that is caught just beyond the sticks. It's a first down. Nice play for the Cougars. Justin Eaglin back there defensively.
This time it's Jeremiah Noga right at the sticks. Makes a great catch as the defender Eaglin was right on his back. First down.
To correct something I was saying, it's nearly 200 yards passing a ball game for the Cougars. Total offense 309 per outing. First down just inside the red zone. Faking the handoff, drifting back, and that's incomplete.
I think they tried to run a screen there. I think the back got caught up in some trash or something. There was a miscommunication there a little bit as well.
Xavier Holmes back there for James Madison, trying to mix things up a bit. Danny Freund, the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach.
Tipped. There's no intentional grounding. Sideline warning, James Madison. That is their first.
Okay, you heard our referee today, Jeremy Parker, give an explanation. So a sideline warning for James Madison. Second down and 10 at the 20. This possession set up by an interception on a deflected ball. Big tight end on the left side. Adamola Fale, and now tossed out to the right side to the tight end. Lechner stays on his feet. It's going to take one, maybe two, or two, maybe three to bring down these ball carriers for Washington State.
Another tough play. Lechner's already getting into the game with two great plays after the catch, breaking tackles, getting extra yards. This is what this Cougar team is all about.
He had one reception for 4 yards last week in a win over Louisiana Tech, 28-3, which again, it's been an up and down season. They've had a couple of 2-game losing streaks and one 2-game winning streak, trying to put 2 in a row here on this Saturday in November. Handoff goes up the middle. Voorhees, and he powers his way. Looks like they're going to mark him right at the chains. They're going to go ahead and move it. So it's a first down for Voorhees at the 10-yard line.
The Cougars brought in jumbo personnel there, 13 personnel, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 3 tight ends. They all lined up on the right, so you have multiple gaps if you're a defense that you have to defend. First down.
3 receivers set here to the open side of the field. They're going to really bunch it up here on the left. And the quarterback will run the football inside the red zone. There he goes with it, but he doesn't get far as James Madison smells it out. It's a loss on the play. It's going to take it back to the 11. Emmanuel Bush, big man in the middle, 6'1", 348-pound, 5th-year senior from Lancaster High School. Out of South Carolina, transfer from Marshall.
Emmanuel Bush also shows that James Madison could also play hard-nosed. Brought all 348 pounds of him to bring him down. The Cougars were in an unbalanced formation there with the tight end to the left. They're throwing all sorts of formations. Now we're seeing a diamond. They're using the whole playbook right now.
On the snap, rolling out and shooting the pass, looking for the intended receiver, floating on out. And that was Leho Pulo-Lossi out of the backfield. Lamar Thomas putting some pressure on the play. So third down again. Now they've been good, has the Cougars in this drive, picking up third down. No big plays, but just enough each time. So they are 2 out of 3 on third down conversions. 2 for 2 in this particular possession. There goes Freeman in motion. Now he'll come back this way. Looking this way, floating it up over the top and incomplete. No flags on the play. So fourth down. As Justin Eaglin again on the coverage, the field corner. or field safety, I should say, for James Madison.
Great defense there by Eaglin. They did a little motion there, and you could see the man coverage when they ran the motion, right? So then the Eckhouse knew, okay, I'm throwing the deep corner as we do in practice with the bucket drill, but Eaglin said not this time.
Jack Stevens will tee it up at the 19-yard line, a 29-yard field goal. He is 2 for 2 from this distance. And he puts it through to put the Cougars on the board. So Washington State somewhat capitalizes, gets great field position on an interception after James Madison ran a couple of plays. Can't get it into the end zone, but they did get it through the upright. Washington State on the board first on this Saturday, 3-0. We'll return with more of our first quarter action at Bridgeport Stadium after these messages on ESPN+. Well, what an interesting drive, but this is not a surprise as we prep for this ball game, knowing how Washington State moves the football. 20 yards, 10 plays. That's all they got out of it. 3:27 off the clock there, but don't be surprised if those kind of drives are, not big chunks of play, but kind of reminds me of in the olden days, Oklahoma 3 yards in a cloud of dust. But now, of course, you're on an artificial turf. But that can be the type of football you can expect out of Washington State offensively.
They were really just taking what the defense was giving them there for most of it. And then the Duke's defense did stand strong there at the goal line to stop them to at least 3 points.
Really, that's the same thing for James Madison today offensively. Take what the defense provides you and take the field position that a penalty will provide you, and that's what's going to happen here.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team, number 98. Ball be placed 35-yard line. First down, James Madison.
So add a few yards as James Madison begins its second possession at its own 35-yard line.
We'll see how the Dukes can respond here after that quick turnover after their short first drive. See if they can get back going with their first, usually the coach will have 15 plays to stick with no matter what happens. We'll see how this goes.
From the 35, Barnett hands off to Wayne Knight. Knight finds a bit of a seam and a good run on first down. Tucker Large is the tackler. Knight, one of 6 finalists on the Paul Hornick watch list for his all-purpose yardage. And he sets up JMU with a 2nd down and 2 at the 43-yard line. Sunshine starting to come out here. That's a pleasant offering this afternoon. Very rainy, sort of like northwest weather early on, and crashing down the line of scrimmage. Caleb Fransel pulling down Wayne Knight. That sets up a 3rd down and 1.
Man, Caleb Fransel was shot out of a cannon. Huge tackle for loss there. He's already having a great game.
Strong side linebacker, and he is a captain on this team. 6'1", 190 pounds. A transfer from South Dakota State. He can say that about 16 of his other teammates as well. Barnett trying to convert on the 1st down. And they do. And there's Knight popping it to the outside. He's at the 40. Has to juke towards the inside. And caught at the 30 as Trey Lechner and Tucker Large come in.
Great blocking by the JMU offensive line there. Wayne Knight didn't really get touched until 15 yards down the field.
That was actually Matthew Durant's a safety in there on the tackle.
Sideline, 2nd, 5-yard penalty added. 1st down.
So 1st down on the play to the 25. After the penalty assessed against Washington State. In motion, the tight end flaring it out here this side. They're using Wayne Knight quite a bit here in this opening stanza. Here comes a flag off the backside, and Tucker Large making the tackle.
Looks like it might be a hold here.
Holding. Offense. Number 18. 10 yards. Previous spot. Replay the down.
Foul called on Logan Kyle. Transfer from Vanderbilt. Last week, 1 catch for 22 yards. 9 catches for 112 yards on the season.
When you put tight ends out there trying to block a corner, most of the time it turns out well, but the corners can move a lot quicker. They're more agile, shiftier, right? So that does sometimes put the tight ends in a bad spot if they don't move their feet, which then might lead to holding to try to make the
reaching
job
back
done.
and you get some separation. You can
Yep.
see the jersey pull. You can see the hands at the wrong angle, and the flag will come out. Brian, you don't know that from experience, do you?
Just a little bit.
Underneath they go to Dupree, the tight end for the Dukes. Another one, Lakota. Parker McKenna drops him. Lakota with 1 catch last weekend. He's over 150 yards on the season, a couple of touchdowns for James Madison. Transfer from Charlotte. Former defensive lineman turned offensive lineman as a tight end. Sets up a 2nd down and 12. Dukes are behind the sticks on the holding call. Got the other tight end there for the Dukes as well, Josh Pfeiffer. He flips to the left side. On this offensive line, led on the center by Zach Greenberg, transfer from North Carolina. Here's the snap. Here comes the pressure. And they float it out to the corner. And the pattern is just broken up a bit. That's typical. Their blitz package, Brian, is just bull rush. Nothing fancy, just try to overpower.
It is. I mean, and they really don't need to blitz that often either because their D linemen are so good. You have Terrell in there, Paletti. There's a bunch of strong, hard-nosed players up front that show up on film, even against Ole Miss, against UVA. They are making plays against that level of team throughout the season.
3rd down. I'll call it 11 at this point. Kind of between 11 and 12 yards. Here comes the pressure. Barnett gets rid of it, and it's well out of bounds. So 4th down. And the Dukes will send on the kicking unit.
Speaking of Terrell, he beat his man there and almost got to Barnett. Barnett could sense the D-line coming and forced the throw. And he wasn't really open either, so it forced the incompletion. Great 3rd down stop there by the Cougars.
Yeah, Terrell, a 6'2", 247-pound junior who leads this team with 10 tackles for loss. And Suarez will attempt a field goal from the 35-yard line, a 45-yarder. And he has one from this distance, and he has another. So both teams get into the other's territory, and both have to settle for field goals. But we are tied at one field goal apiece. 3-3 our score, 5:10 to play in the opening quarter. Final regular season home game for James Madison. And a good crowd once again here. Another sold-out crowd at Bridgeport Stadium. Back with more in just a moment.
Marvel and JMU football, probably something most fans wouldn't anticipate at the beginning of the season. What's been done on the pro level now is the first on the collegiate level. Marvel teaming up with the university, of course, that being James Madison, the first ever to do it. And there's a lot going on. Ian Gallatin, our cameraman, in a Spider-Man suit, he probably would have wore it if we didn't have Marvel Day. But there's a lot going on. You can get your face painted. There's 4 cosplayers, an Iron Man suit that even has lights, 2,000 co-branded hats given out at the game, even a hand-drawn souvenir poster given to fans with Duke Dog and all the Marvel characters. There's a costume contest as well, and well, I think Ian might be in the running for that one. So there is a lot going on, and really when you look at this matchup, Washington State, a new face to JMU, a big game, and with Thanksgiving break coming up, this was an avenue to maybe draw in some fans you wouldn't typically see, and also try and keep as many students as you can here.
It's a good crowd of students. They sit to the end zone to our left, where Washington State is trying to attack here today. And so something worked, but I even know that youngsters on my street here in Harrisonburg or in Bridgewater, quite honestly, they were, hey, I want tickets. I want to go see these guys. And I know they were dressing up as Marvel characters today as well. We came in suit and tie, so, but we know that Brian's a superhero. At least to his daughters.
Yes.
All right, at the 25, Washington State has its third possession, last time taking advantage of a short field to score a field goal. By the way, that Suarez field goal of 45 yards is a career long. His previous career long was 43. And a flag.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
That kind of caught me by surprise, too.
Yeah, if you're Coach Jimmy Rogers, that's got to grind your gears a little bit. Coming out of a TV timeout to get a delay of game. Just kind of shooting yourself in the foot there a little bit.
Well, and the thing is, too, the way that they set the ball, when we come back, they should be ready to play because they're trying to make sure they compact the time of the game. So that's just one of the TV adjustments. Well, handoff working to the left side, and boy, just keeping the legs grinding. Jacob Thomas is back out there, Brian. He left with the left arm, looked like it was dangling there. Must have had maybe a stinger possibly. Trent Hendrick makes the tackle off the tough run, picks up 3 yards. That was Voorhees again.
Yeah, another tough run by the Cougars here. They just really grind you down, take what you give them, and are very hard-nosed in every aspect of the game.
Voorhees just carried that football. 105 totes coming into the season, into today's game, 473 yards. In motion goes Joshua Meredith. That's one of the top targets. Here comes some pressure over the middle, broken up. Spinagati, we're talking about him quite a bit here today in the linebacker spot. So 3rd down once again.
Spinagati broke there. Maybe if he had another step, that could have been an interception and potentially more. Great play by him.
I haven't seen Weathersby out there. We've had Spinagati a lot. He may have flown in, but I just hadn't noticed him quite yet. The clock down to 2. Passing, looking over the top for a timing play. Nice catch, but is he inbounds? They say he is.
Ruling on the field is a catch. 1st down.
Wow, what a pass and catch. Eckhouse put it where no one but Freeman could catch it. Right on the sideline. Look at his feet. That's right on the line there, but you only need 1 in college as a reminder. But right on the
Ruling
line.
on the field was a catch for a 1st down. Previous play is under video review.
They are going to take a look at it.
Yeah, his outer cleat there might be on the white. Might be on the white chalk, or the turf that looks like chalk.
It takes a very special quarterback to deliver a football like this.
It is a heck of a pass.
He goes up like Spider-Man. It looked like that back foot was definitely down.
Yeah, yep. The back foot, the right foot looks to be down first. The foot I was talking about was his left, but if you watch his right foot quickly, he's already down before that left foot hits the out-of-bounds line.
I had the pleasure of talking to a gentleman by the name of Dave Wyatt, who is a scout for the NFL for officials. And he was telling me a story about Chris Carter of the Minnesota Vikings. And what they watched for on the 2-touch was the rooster tail that the toe gets when you get on the Nike splash, is what I call it, on the fill for the turf, right?
Yep.
Chris Carter came up to him and said, "I'm going to get you today. I'm going to get you today." He says, "Oh, no, you're not." Chris Carter changed his movement so that he would drag the toe first, and then the left foot would come down. So he had to basically go from being right-handed to left-handed to get that done. It's pretty impressive when you think about it. Just that little detail to maybe get you a call that could be the difference in a ball game.
The ruling is upheld of a catch for a 1st down.
So it is a good catch. We saw it clearly on the video there. Yes. But a quarterback who can just frustrate the heck out of secondary cornerbacks because they just drop it in the bucket.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do when you're a secondary in that position, right? It's just great execution. Great pass by Eckhouse. Unbelievable catch to keep his foot in bounds by Freeman.
I remember our buddy Casey Keeler, who was the head coach at Delaware, when he was coaching Rowan at the Division III level, he had a quarterback that could do that. Almost got him to the national championship. In motion goes Tony Freeman. The handoff goes up the middle, and Emmanuel Bush comes crawling out of the crowd, and he's got the tackle as Pule Lossi is dropped for no gain. 2nd down and 10.
Man, Emmanuel Bush just getting off blocks and getting in the backfield and just being disruptive today. Calling his name a couple times already.
He's got 3 sacks on the year, 6 tackles for loss. That will not go as a TFL, but the coaches don't mind. That works just as good. Got a bunching to the right. Oh, tossing it back. Flea flicker, and now racing on out. It's going to go one-on-one, and Spinagati takes him down at the 46-yard line.
Washington State likes to show a little trickery. Not surprised they ran a little flea flicker there. Credit to the coverage, the back coverage there. They didn't fall for it. They held their position. There wasn't anyone open. And Spinagati made a great play here, one-on-one with Eckhouse, who is a very athletic quarterback.
And when you got a power team, your thought is you got to get up there and help your dudes, right?
You do. And your first step's usually forward, not backwards.
So credit to that secondary. Something must have tipped them off that this was a formation to throw this out of. Over the middle. Whoa, what a delivery. Ball is separated, incomplete. Spinagati again on the hit there to jar the ball loose, so Tony Freeman couldn't pull it in. 4th down.
Eckhouse tried to thread the needle there right in between Spinagati and Trent Hedrick. And that sometimes, that receiver kind of paid for it when you're in between those two very productive linebackers. Great play by JMU defense.
Looked like Spinagati held him up and said, let me introduce you to Trent Hedrick. Here's the punt. Fair catch is called for by Knight back at his own 11-yard line. That's where James Madison will have the football when we come back. Sky's turning a little bluer here. Sunshine working its way through the crowd. Timeout at Bridgeport Stadium. 2:28 to go. It's a 3-3 tie. To Bridgeport Stadium. Kurt Dudley, Brian Barlow, David Holvey with you here this afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, especially those watching coast to coast here. Of course, Washington State fans, I'm sure there are a few that are here. Ryan Leaf stopped in, surprisingly. I was kind of shocked. Hey, how you doing? Came in to see us today. Of course, he does their games on the CW out there for Washington State, so it was a pleasure to meet him. And nice to be introduced to a lot of the Washington State fans and folks. Of course, welcome into the James Madison fans watching today as well. Probably more than 25,000 of them are here with us this afternoon. 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line following the punt. Barnett has Knight beside him. He'll hand the ball off to Wayne. Wayne quickly gets through the hole and picks up the first down as Durant makes the tackle. The one thing, Brian, that now Washington State defensively will give you a lot of stuff underneath. Their linebackers will play a little wide, and they kind of fan out their defense, so every gap has a guy to cover if one guy's not there. But if you can get through a seam, boom, you can take it. So Wayne Knight has that capability and that speed.
He does, and you're exactly right. And some of their philosophy is they'd rather rally on the ball.
And here they go to the outside as Sanchez takes the pitch and picks up the first down. Tucker Large has been all over the field early in this ball game here in the first quarter. Large out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a captain for this team, 61 tackles on the year, and he brings down Sanchez, a wide receiver, but after James Madison picks up a first down at the 38-yard line. We won't see Jordan Fuller in the backfield for the Dukes today. He is out. Releasing it, finding Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer turned but can't come up with a catch. A lot of pressure in the face of Barnett, but he kept his composure.
He did, man. There was a defender right there. Looks like a little RPO action. Hit the tight end on the back shoulder. Just couldn't make the play. Nice defensive play by the defender there, number 23.
That was Durant once again. You know, last week, a lot of RPO in the first, and James Madison found itself second and long, third and long. And Coach Chesney was saying Barnett was getting the right read, just the execution wasn't there. Shooting up the field and trying to hang on for dear life. Wayne Knight trying to break, needed a tearaway for Colby Humphrey, who comes in and makes the tackle.
Colby Humphrey had a fistful of Wayne Knight's undershirt there and just wouldn't let go.
He was hanging on for dear life and brings Knight down, so that sets up a third down situation. A third and about 8. So the Dukes will send 4 receivers out to the left, 1 here to the near side. That's Sanchez. Up now coming back in is George Pettaway, our first chance to talk about him today. Pettaway in there to block. Here comes the rush. He gets around Pettaway. Barnett tosses it away and just had to make a decision. Well, that's that full straight-on bull rush for Washington State.
Just a great play by their defensive line, really getting some pressure, forcing Alonzo Barnett out of the pocket and just basically throwing it away.
So Patrick Ray will come in to punt for James Madison. 32 balls he's lofted this year, 40.5 yards per punt, a long of 61 this season. And Tony Freeman is back to return. Good return man, averages about 12 per return, which is a very good average. Ball will drop inside the 20 and down at the 18-yard line. So that's the 14th time this year that Ray has dropped it inside the 20.
And he delays a little bit there. If you watch the punt, you notice there was no defender really attempting to block or even come after him. So he waits, lets the punt coverage team get further down the field. So when he does punt, they're right there on it. So to catch him, hopefully down it within the 20 or 10-yard line, which they did.
Jimmy Rogers in his first season as the head coach. He was 2 years the head coach at South Dakota State, his alma mater. Played for John Stiglmeyer, who is a legend in that South Dakota, as Voorhees the ball carrier. And looked like Spinagatti got back there initially. And then Michael McMullen also helps to bring down the running back. We'll continue with the Rogers story as his day as a Jackrabbit when we return. 1 quarter in the books, about as we anticipated. Low scoring, 3-3. Yards hard to come by. 3-3 our score after 1 quarter of play. We welcome you back to Harrisonburg, Virginia, here in the central Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. Clouds have cleared out. We can now see the Blue Ridge mountain range. We couldn't see that earlier upon arrival here at the stadium today. So 1st and 10 for Wazoo at the 14-yard line. In motion, dropping it off, little screen. He's got some room to run. Corralled there eventually by Tyler Brown as Maxwell Woods comes up with the catch. Redshirt freshman from Carver, Minnesota, a transfer from South Dakota State. Makes his 12th catch of the year, and that's good enough for a first down.
Just a great play call and execution there. They actually ran the screen with the blitz call by the defense. Able to get the first down with a nice setup.
Washington State 21 plays, 65 yards in the first quarter. James Madison 13 for 77 yards of offense. First down situation for the visitors. Handoff. Tadeo jumps on the running back. And this goes to Maxwell Woods again. He's 5'10", 195-pounder. 29 rushes, 176 yards, and a touchdown, playing 7 games last year in Brookings.
He's still got multiple years of eligibility left compared to a lot of the South Dakota State guys that were brought over that are seniors, but they are providing that leadership and stability for this Cougar team.
Dropping back to pass. Here comes some pressure. Does get rid of the football. It's picked off. That's Eaglin to the 20. He's going to take it to the house. He'll celebrate with the James Madison students. Touchdown, JMU.
What a play by Eaglin. Zevi Eckhouse stepped up, had a little pressure behind him, forced him forward in the pocket, had to force the throw. I don't know if he didn't see Eaglin or what, but it went right to him. Pick 6.
Yeah, he was intended to get the ball to Joshua Meredith. You can see it really good right here.
Oh, yeah. Aiden Gobira providing that pressure behind.
I don't think he got enough air under it.
Yeah.
If he gets air on the ball, that might be 6 the other way. But Eaglin breaking on the ball, maybe he catches him, maybe he doesn't, but the extra point is shot through by Suarez. And a turnover. It's a trade of turnovers so far. JMU +4 in that category when it comes to points on the board. So 10-3. Kickoff to follow. 37-yard return for Justin Eaglin.
Unbeaten team in JMU history. That's back in 1975, thanks to John Bowers, the man to my right. John, when you think back to 1975, all the success you had, now you're looking at 2025, a sold-out stadium yet again. How special is it to come back and also be honored?
I tell you, it's just been a fabulous weekend for all the players and all the guys that had such an integral part of getting this football program built and doing all those things. And we are just so appreciative of everything that they've done for us this weekend.
What makes James Madison special? Because you see it on the media, you hear about it, but you've been around the block as a player and a coach here.
I think because people want to come here and they feel comfortable here, and it's a family atmosphere, which it's been. And I think the original administration with Dr. Carrier started that, and I think that has kept going through the years.
John, we appreciate you.
Okay, thank you.
Well, another kickoff that ends up out of bounds, so.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team, number 95. Ball will be placed at 35-yard line.
Both teams
down, Washington State.
With one of those, and we had a little bit of an extra. We had a wrestling match going on there for a little bit, but they broke it up. No flags. Here you go. We'll take a look at it again.
Just a little extracurricular here. Both teams are fired up. Both teams respect each other and know the quality of programs that are on each side here. And, you know, when talking with both coaches, that there was respect across the board because of the history between them in their FCS matchup days previously, when it was South Dakota State versus Holy Cross in FCS playoffs. And even Jimmy Rogers remembered when he came here in his days at JMU when he was at South Dakota State as well. So there was just mutual respect across the board with the toughness and the discipline by these coaches.
Freeman in motion, takes the catch, and is knocked down off his cleats right away. A loss of about a half yard on the play. They got the ball out in a hurry, did Eckhouse, as Elijah Culp, the cornerback, comes in and blows it up. Yeah, he remembered that 2017 FCS playoff game. That was a semifinal game, and JMU won that one 51-16. Set a school record with 10 turnovers. 6 interceptions by the Dukes, 4 fumble recoveries. JMU won that ball game big. Bottled up, and he gets to the outside. That's Woods on his way into James Madison territory, as he just bounces it to the outside. Tyler Brown catches up to him.
What a play by Maxwell Woods. Jeez. You thought it might be a tackle for loss here. You know, the blockers on the right side are taking steps back, but then he cuts it back and makes a great play.
Yeah, that is all Woods doing that. Takes it into James Madison territory at the 44-yard line. Yeah, Coach Rogers, he said, yeah. I said, do you remember that? He goes, yeah, it was a loss. I definitely remember it. Good patience. James Madison's defense, though, wraps it up after a couple of yards. Voorhees, the ball carrier. Emmanuel Bush brings him down. I was talking earlier that Rogers played for John Stiglmeyer, and he said Jimmy Rogers' impact on SDSU football has been tremendous ever since he arrived on campus as a freshman student athlete. He is a passionate, hardworking leader that will demand more of himself than those he leads. That was his comment as he took the head coaching job with Washington State. 2nd down and 8. Coming around to the near side, strung out a bit. Here comes a flag, make it 2 flags coming out.
Another trickery play by the Cougars, little wide receiver reverse. But it's either going to be a block in the back, holding, or potentially both.
Joshua Meredith, that ball they got so wide and so deep, did the play in trying it to become developed. I think that's where the issue developed for Washington State. We have one. We've talked about South Dakota State and the Jackrabbit connections.
Holding.
I got another one for
Offense, number 83. 10 yards, previous spot. Replay the down.
The tight end, Pillay, called for the hold. The video board operator here at James Madison, she has been with us since the big video board, JMU, has been in operation here since 2011. Katie Wyndham this is her 100th game directing, producing here at the video board. She wouldn't tell me that, but her mother sent me an email to say, so she is a South Dakota State alum, former Jackrabbit herself. She would probably come down here and throw me out the window if she knew I was talking about her. Nice little juke after the reception. DJ Barksdale. That's Johnson, the receiver, one of the running backs coming out of the backfield, 3rd down.
They move Angel Johnson all over the formation. We'll get him into motions. They just like to get him the ball. As you can see right there, he made a move, made a player miss for a short game, but still making plays.
You mentioned Barksdale on that tackle. He was the last player before Eaglin today to have a pick 6. His came against Georgia Southern a year ago, October, down in Statesboro. Back to pass. Here's pressure on the outside. Flushed out of the pocket, and that is incomplete. He seems to be having a little struggle throwing on the run today. A lot of the balls are off the mark when he's on the move like that. Either overthrown, underthrown.
They are. And, you know, the secondary is doing a great job holding their coverages while Eckhouse is being forced out of the pocket from the defensive line.
Harris will have his 2nd punt this afternoon for Washington State. Wayne Knight yet to return a punt today, standing back at his 10. Good punt, and takes a hop, and a great punt for Washington State as the ball is down inside the 5-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Dukes when we return to Bridgeport Stadium. 10:22 to go in the first half. And the length of the field for James Madison to put points on the board once again. (10-3) James Madison. The Dukes have the football at their own 4-yard line. Here is the college football playoff bracket. You do not see James Madison in there, as Tulane popped into that slot on Tuesday night. But James Madison still in the conversation to be one of those 12. In fact, they have a pretty good percentage chance of doing so according to other prognostications. And it depends on who you might talk to, what numbers you might crunch.
Yes. Tulane's at Temple today.
Speaking of Casey Keeler, that's where he is coaching these days.
There you go. 3:45 kickoff for those two.
So field position has not been the best for either team to start. Both teams have scored points after getting turnovers in the other's territory. And that's Joby Mallory last weekend, 105 yards, his best game as a Duke. Fitzmaurice making the tackle. He ended up with 3 touchdowns, did Joby, who's from the Northwest. He came in from Portland State. In fact, he does know the big defensive end and Isaac Terrell. Second down and 9. And that is Knight bounces to the outside. Can't get free, however. He is dropped for a loss. Matthew Durant's in to make the tackle.
Looked like Wayne Knight kind of tripped a little bit. Great play by number 23 there to keep one of the leading all-purpose players down from breaking a big one there.
So third down and long. And the average starting position for JMU has been 18 at their own 18 for the Dukes. Passing it, coming out, ball is caught. That's pulled in by Michael Scott. Francil brings him down, however. Not a whole lot to work with for Barnett and company on that occasion.
It's just a great 3-and-out stop by the Cougar defense. The slugfest continues this week.
And so you're going to need a really good punt here out of Patrick Ray. Otherwise, what you're looking at on that last possession is only 5 plays and 16 yards, but a good punt inside the 4. It's a field position flip if you're not careful here. High punt, or high snap, that is. Punt is high for the coverage. It's going to bound around and down at midfield. And timeout on the field as Washington State will get the ball in relatively good field position as this game has gone at the midfield stripe. We've got 8:11 to play. James Madison 10. Washington State 3. The difference, a 37-yard interception return by Justin Eaglin for a score for James Madison. So here's another way to look at things. Group of 5 teams to make the CFP, the All-State playoff predictor, has James Madison at 46%, North Texas at 42%, and then Tulane at 20%.
I don't know how you make of that compared to the bracket show on Tuesdays, but we'll see how all this plays out.
Let's say this. James Madison going into last week, what did Coach Chesney say? As there's the handoff, and that goes to Woods. Picks up about 2 yards on the play. Is you know, if you want to lose those numbers standing beside your name, to pay attention to them. You know, when the Dukes emerged on the AP top 25, and I think they handled things very well last week. And they know they've got to, that's what we were talking about, the significance, the relevance of this game for James Madison. If you want to even have a chance, it appears, you got to win this game, and you got to win next Saturday, and you may have to win the Sun Belt Championship game as well. Here comes a blitz off the corner. Down the field it goes. Wide open is Freeman. He's heading to the end zone. It is a touchdown for the Cougars of Washington State.
Wow, what a play by Zevi Eckhouse. Seemed like a busted coverage. Freeman was wide open with the deep post. Great execution by the Cougars here.
I think he bought time knowing that Freeman could get open too.
Stepped up in the pocket. Actually made a great throw while he was moving that time. You know, improved a little bit from his previous throws in the game.
Jack Stevens will try the point after. He is 25 out of 25 this season.
That was an explosive play. That really was. And, you know, some of those are tracked by various people for various reasons. And Washington State just hit a huge one to turn the tides here. That was a quick touchdown instead of their grinded out usual drives of, you know, taking what they give you and maybe hit one. That was a quick turn. Great play by Eckhouse and Freeman.
And a little bit, they had run a couple of trick plays earlier. None of them really worked. This one was more conventional, and really the quarterback making the play by Eckhouse, stepping up, as you mentioned, and chucking it down the field. Now, he did have to earn this job during the regular season early on, but he came in with some pretty big numbers. Over 8,527 yards exactly, and 75 touchdowns while he was playing for Bryant, an FCS program. And he chucked that one certainly down the field. It was a 50-yard touchdown toss.
And Chesney and the Holy Cross guys gave credit to seeing Zevi in their prior years at FCS Holy Cross as well as another kind of, you know, historical matchup between these programs, as he was very successful at the Bryant program.
He had a number of accolades. Was when they played in the NEC, he was the Rookie of the Year and then became the Player of the Year in the Big South. That was in the 2022 season. So he does have a lot of experience. Now, Jackson Potter had won the starting assignment early on because, quite frankly, he was really good in the preseason. He had completed 82% of his passes during the fall, but they just recognized there was something about Eckhouse that was different when he was on the field with their offense.
He adds a little bit more ability to run the ball on purpose, you know, QB designed runs.
Pass over the middle, another one that is deflected, and this is going to fall incomplete. Just about a interception again off a deflection by the Tucker Large.
Right off Logan Kyle's hands. Oh, almost another picked ball off a drop. The Cougars have to be down on themselves after dropping that one there.
So Barnett, 3 out of 9 for only 28 yards. He has thrown for at least 260 yards in each of the last 5 games. Meanwhile, Eckhouse up to 112 yards with 50 of it coming on his last pass. The handoff goes to Knight. Knight trying to get to the outside, but breaking down quickly was Matthew Durrance. Durrance is having a really good ball game. He has been all over the field here at Bridgeford Stadium on Zane Shoker Field.
Coach Rogers talked about after the North Texas and the Washington games where they gave up 59 points both games. They talked about they really wanted to focus on tackling. They were missing a lot of tackles in those games. And as the season went on, their tackling has been tremendous over the past 6 games. They're only giving up 11.5 points, and that includes games against Ole Miss and UVA, who are both top 25 ranked at those times.
Yeah, they've kept a lot of teams under 10 points for the ball game, and down goes Barnett as he is sacked. It's Parker McKenna. It is McKenna actually is the one I spoke earlier errantly about Terrell, but McKenna is the one that Joby Mallory knows. They were both at Portland State at one time. And he gets up close and personal, gets to know Alonzo Barnett.
McKenna with a great sack. You see the JMU O-lineman looking back at the quarterback. Whenever you see that, that usually alludes to, something is about to
watch out.
Yeah, watch out. Something bad's about to happen there.
Gray, a high punt this time. Takes a bounce. Takes a favorable JMU hop through the wickets of Regan and settled down at the 30-yard line. So with 5:43 to go, it's a 10-10 affair, and Washington State taking over again. One of the other things, this is not happening, but this is one of the things that Dean Kennedy spoke to us about yesterday in our production meeting, was that, yes, Washington State will give you 5 yards here and 2 yards there, but what you've got to do is make that 5-7 and make that 2-4. You've got to get yards after contact and yards after the catch, and you're not seeing a lot of that thus far.
You are not. They're really tackling well, and JMU players are falling backwards most of the time when these players are tackling them.
The handoff, that should be Voorhees, sneaks through. That's actually, beg your pardon, it is once again Maxwell Woods. He just put his shoulders, got low, and Jacob Thomas eventually finds him and brings him down, but after he takes the ball to the 45.
Really nice patience here by Maxwell Woods. The Cougar O-line was covering up the JMU defenders and just finding and weaving his way to the first down there.
Looked like he was seeking out a hole to burrow into and then come out for daylight on the other side. So 1st and 10 at the 45. 153 yards of total offense for Wazoo. Here's the pass out to the left side. It was good coverage, a good read, and coming up with the first down on the reception, Joshua Meredith. DJ Barksdale pulls him out of bounds, but the formation definitely favored Washington State.
JMU brought the house there with just man coverage on the back. So it was actually a perfect play call, and Zevi did a great job just getting the ball out there and let the players make plays with the basically one-on-one coverage there.
Wasn't a whole lot of help, so you get your man beat, you're taking it down the sideline. Inside James Madison territory, this time starting at the 43 with a new set of downs. Popping it to the outside again, it's Woods. He spins. Spanagati and also Tyler Brown helps to bring him down, but after a really good run on the first down play, sets up a second down, and we'll call it a short 3. Ball will be technically spotted at the 35.
Maxwell Woods again finding ways to get yards, following his blockers, using him in various ways.
5'10", 192 pounds, redshirt freshman from Carver, Minnesota. There he is again with the football, spins once again. Zaire West making the tackle for James Madison off the offensive line. A defensive end, 6'4", 270. He is a redshirt freshman as well. Baltimore, Maryland, out of Mount St. Joseph's. Has 7 tackles for loss among his 28 tackles when the day began. 1st and 10 again, though, however. This is a grind 'em out drive for Washington State. In motion goes Leon Neal. He'll settle on the right side. Handoff again. This time it's Voorhees as he comes in to give Woods a spell. Carries it up to the 30-yard line before Trent Hendrick comes in for the stop. This is a 2nd down and 7, and this is Wazoo football right here.
It really is. When we talked with JMU defensive coordinator Hirschler, he said they're just going to try to grind it out and do exactly what's happening, to be honest. And he mentioned that the key for one of JMU's victories is to get them out of doing this and JMU to score quickly.
Jeremiah Noga on the top side. He has 16 catches on the season. The handoff, though, goes to Voorhees, and he powers his way towards the down marker. And they want to hurry up. The clock is coming down to the 2-minute timeout. They were hoping to get another playoff.
2-minute timeout.
But right now, the Mo is on the go for Wazoo. New language for you. How about that? 2 minutes to play in the first half. 10 for the Dukes, 10 for the Cougars, who are threatening.
Being Marvel Day, another big part of the festivities is the players getting in on the action. You'll notice a JMU decal as normal on one side of their helmet, but on the other, they get to have a Marvel superhero. Now, the way that they got them, you got to rank your favorite superheroes 1 through 5. It's Captain America, Hulk, Iron Man, Black Panther, and Thor. You know, Kurt, we highlighted Aiden Gobira early in this season. And how fitting is it that he got Captain America as his decal on his helmet? I mean, the guy didn't play football for about 2 years. Trent Hendricks said he was thawing out. Of course, you understand the reference if you've seen Captain America. And, well, there's plenty of stories to go with, but the helmet's a really, really sharp look.
Just a neat little wrinkle. We also have a special feature, and this was, we didn't know the family ties, but there was a family tie to JMU with Marvel Comics, and we've got something touching to show you at halftime. But right now, the Cougars threatening to take a lead, maybe into the locker room. Voorhees is the ball carrier, and he is brought down by Michael McMullen.
Timeout. James Madison.
JMU will take a timeout.
30 seconds and leak.
McMullen, the redshirt sophomore from Newport News, went to Phoebus High School. 24 tackles on the season. 291-pounder, stands in at 6'1".
Washington State offensive coordinator Danny Freund here is having a great second quarter. You know, first quarter the Dukes had more yards, but Washington State this quarter has really turned it up, had the big play deep to the post for a touchdown, and now having a long drive here, just taking the defense will give them and really turning into a really successful second quarter for them.
Yeah, when you do match things up, two good defenses. James Madison's offense, numbers-wise, looks better, but really the best defense for Washington State is its offense, because they keep JMU's offense off the board. Exactly. And off the field, generally speaking. Which is why time of possession is a big deal. Right now it's 14.5 minutes for Wazoo, 9:48 for James Madison. Play action coming out, and there's the reception from the tight end. That is the tackle, Spinagati, as your tight end again was Trey Lechner. Lechner from Washington, 6'3", 232-pounder.
Timeout, James Madison. Second charge of the half, 30 seconds and leak.
Dukes with another timeout with 1:48. So the Dukes trying to preserve some time here to maybe have another possession.
Every possession is key here in this battle, as Washington State is really keeping the ball on this drive alone.
Saw Bob Chesney there, a finalist for the George Munger Coach of the Year award. Last year's winner was Marcus Freeman of Notre Dame, one of 24 semifinalists. In his second season at James Madison, coming to JMU from Holy Cross.
Washington State coming out in 20 personnel, where they have Voorhees and Maxwell. 21 personnel, actually. The tight end Lechner's in the backfield, but in the diamond formation.
And so a couple of strong runners, and it goes to Voorhees, who cuts to the outside and then cuts up between the right guard and tackle.
Timeout, James Madison.
The Dukes will take their final timeout with Trent Hendrick
30 seconds.
Making the tackle. It's a 30-second timeout. We keep it right here again.
Trent Hendrick, one of the seniors on senior day here. Multiple seniors having their potential last day in Bridgeforth, maybe not. The Dukes are confident that they should be hosting the conference game later on, a couple weeks, but there's a mix of seniors that came with Chesney from Holy Cross, that came from other schools, and then there are some seniors that stuck it out on JMU's roster. You know, I'm sure they may have been getting calls in this day and age of NIL and everything else going on. So, you know, those guys are Jacob Thomas, Trent Hendrick, Josh Toner, Kai Holmes, Brandon Feek, and Brett Davis. Congratulations to all seniors.
Yeah, unfortunately, Feek out with an injury, so unable to play today. Maybe if the Dukes have a Sun Belt championship game here, and again, as Brian said, a lot of confidence that the game will be played here. A lot of the metrics are pointing to that he can be available to play on that Friday night. We do know the game is December the 5th. Voorhees trying to cut to the outside, and a flag comes in. This could be a crucial call here, as he squirted underneath Elijah Culp's attempt to grasp him. And it is a flag on Washington State. And when you go back and you look at the season and you talk to Coach Rogers, and he points at certain games, penalties were very costly in some of those losses.
They were, and at the wrong time. And when you're down on the goal line here.
Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty, previous spot, replay the down.
They're very impactful when you're at the goal line.
Well, 67, the holder there, you can see got a hold of the, that's Bush that gets held up.
Bush is having a great day. Just really disruptive back there. Sometimes maybe the only thing you can do is hold him to keep him from slowing down.
Talk about the penalties, early on in the season when the Dukes were struggling with some situations, the penalties was one of their issues. But again, at that time of year, you could probably chalk it up to new guys, new faces, new places, all those good things that are actually bad things. But James Madison seems to have calmed that little bit of a storm. Second down and long. You can pick up a first down inside the 3. But 1:39 remaining here in the period. Man coverage, taking it right up the middle. And collapsed in on once he gets it to the 10 is Eckhouse. Kicks it inside the 10-yard line. As Aiden Gobira, the transfer from Notre Dame, crashes down in. So third down. They've got to get the ball between the 2nd and 3rd yard lines to pick up a first down. On third downs today, 3 out of 7. But this was a strength of James Madison defense. Flair Wood out. There's contact. Here comes a flag. This is basically a free play. But I think this is going against the Dukes. It will not be enough to pick up the first down, however. But it does make it a little bit more manageable, because really what James Madison coaches were saying, that 3rd and 6 is something
Offside.
very doable
Defense. Half the
for
distance to the
Washington
goal.
State.
Replay the down.
Just a little jump off sides. It must have been a verbal hard count there, and it worked. Free play.
So a timeout this time is
Timeout.
requested.
Washington State, it's their first charge timeout. Will be 30 seconds in length.
I was crediting JMU with getting the penalties under control, and they pop one off there. That's only the 2nd penalty in this ball game for 14 yards.
This game's really going back and forth.
It has.
Interception to interception, and this is a slugfest right now. This would be, as Coach Mickey Matthews once said, a field position game in the 2nd quarter. It really has been for Washington State, and I know that they're over there thinking, well, if we don't throw an interception, get a pick 6, you've got a lead right now, and maybe a chance to even expand on, make it a 2-possession lead. Obviously, that's not the case. But those are the type of things you just got to forget about and move on and play from there. This is a crucial play in this game right here.
Bush will come back in. Gobira will come out on that defensive line for James Madison. One man in the backfield. A little tight formation with those tight ends. It is Voorhees as the tailback. Eckhouse takes the snap, rolls out to his left. He's going to head to the end zone. He's going to make it into the end zone. Touchdown, Washington State with its 2nd lead of the afternoon.
Zevi Eckhouse showing his versatility. They did a little naked rollout, and JMU was all over it. Eckhouse makes a guy miss and puts it into the end zone.
That play right there, I don't know it for personal reasons, but I would suggest that that type of play is why he is your starting quarterback.
That is correct. He's a very athletic runner, and you see it when they use him in the design plays with the +1, and we saw it on the 2nd and long there on the goal line in the red zone. And he is a weapon in himself, whether he's throwing it. Okay, all the coverage is there. JMU sniffed out the naked boot, put his foot in the ground, and got vertical. Great play by Zevi Eckhouse.
So this is a standard Washington State-like drive. 11 plays, 67 yards, 4 minutes, 54 seconds off the clock. A 4-yard touchdown run by Eckhouse. And again, Washington State has its 2nd lead, but its largest lead of the afternoon, as Eckhouse has raced in for a touchdown for the 7th time this year. 48 seconds James Madison will have to work with. Got Petaway deep to receive on the far hash. And Harris Lopez, and that is Petaway at the goal line. Breaks the tackle. Can't break the second. Here comes a flag. So Petaway trying to bring it out. No, under these circumstances, you're using that as a play.
Yep.
Because you don't have a whole lot of time, obviously. So maybe you can break one off.
There's no foul on the play. First down.
So they take the flag. They'll pick up the hanky, and at the 14-yard line, James Madison will have the football. Only 72 yards of offense for a team during a winning streak that has put up over 450 yards last week against App State. Over 600 yards of total offense for James Madison. But this is a different opponent this weekend. They got all kinds of receivers. Barnett over the middle, and that is high. The intended receiver was Wazlowski. Wazlowski, a transfer from Maryland. And that will put Barnett at 3 for 10.
That ball may have been tipped, and if it wasn't tipped, they were still in his face, forcing him to kind of, throw the incomplete pass there out of the receiver's reach.
Yeah, his elbow room has not been much to work with on a number of plays here this afternoon. There's been some duress. They just hand it off this time. And you see the swarming defense of the Cougars. That's the way they like to tackle. Washington State going to take a timeout.
So second charge, 30 seconds in length. Please set the game clock to 32 seconds, please.
So at a 3rd and 10, you can look at that two ways, Brian. One,
thank you.
They can create some havoc and maybe get a good break, or they're going to get a 4th down and get maybe another possession, another crack at something.
With good field position as well, given the Dukes are only on their 15-yard line. Maybe Washington State could sneak, get into field goal range here potentially if they get the ball back type of situation.
You saw one of the many Spider-Men that are here today. Among other superheroes. 3rd and 10. Barnett's going to take off with it this time. Has a blocker or two. The block is shed, and Barnett tries to back his way into a 1st down. Will not get it. Clock continues to run. 20 seconds to go. 4th and 2. The Dukes can just let the clock run out, or timeout will be taken by Washington State, and that's what will occur.
30 seconds in length.
Timeout with 7 seconds remaining.
Please set the game clock to 8 seconds, please. 8 seconds.
That was one of the first plays we've seen this half.
Thank you.
Design run for Alonza. In previous games, he's had 10 to 14, 15 carries a game. And that's been a successful part of the offense to kind of get them going.
I think field position has had a little bit to do with that, because he's typically going to carry the ball in the red zone, for example, and the Dukes have been in the red zone a lot this year. So that's where a good number of those do. But you're right, Brian. That's something that they haven't really utilized much this half, as Ray will come into punt for James Madison.
We'll see if they get to more of that in the second half.
Well, JMU has been a really good team in the second half. The coaching staff has done an excellent job of making halftime adjustments. They've made good adjustments even in live games as well. I mean, during the 1st and 2nd quarters, but this one may take a little bit more evaluation. And they didn't have anybody back. They brought everybody, and the ball is going to trickle all the way down And that'll run out the clock as well. So the Dukes will head to the locker room at the Plecker Athletics Performance Center down to our right. And the Cougars will look up at their fans, the few that are here that have made the trip across the country. See a little bit of the maroon on the other side, and they'll head into their locker room here at Bridgeport Stadium. Washington State with a 17-10 lead. And the Cougars have outgained the Dukes 226-80 in total offense. We'll have halftime coming your way in just a few shakes.
What you call a slow creep, I call pacing. Patience, destiny is what I'm chasing. Facing many challenges while embracing. Yeah, whatever come with it. I promise that you won't recognize it whenever I'm done with it. Beyond the blood.
Washington State leading James Madison 17-10 at halftime here at Bridgeport Stadium, as the Dukes only mustered 80 yards of total offense, while Washington State racked up over 220 yards of total in the first half. Well, it is that special theme day here today. First partnership between James Madison and Marvel Comics. And, of course, Marvel has been doing things with the pro ranks. First time it's been on the collegiate level as well. And this was something that was thought up by folks here at JMU. And Then they learned there were some ties to Marvel Comics here at James Madison University, and here's a bit of that story.
Growing up, he was the biggest comic book geek, honestly, that you'll ever meet. I mean, you can ask anybody that knew my brother. He got money, he went to a comic book shop like this. I mean, he was there spending hours.
He passed away before I even decided where I wanted to go to college. I'm like, what are the odds that something I didn't decide till he was gone happened to coincide with his #1 passion?
I was really homesick the first few weeks here, so I was just constantly on the phone with my mom. And I was also just looking at all the sporting events, so I went on the JMU athletics app, and it was the first headline, it was Marvel Superhero Game Day. So I send her the link, and then I'm reading more into it, and I'm like, wait Mom, this is the first college Marvel Game Day thing. And I'm like, that's weird, that's such a sign from Uncle Mike.
A couple years before Michael passed, he started the Marvel sports crossover with our Philly teams. Again, people were like, this isn't gonna work, and it just took off in Philly. So to find out that JMU was the first collegiate crossover, I was floored. I really do feel like he had a part in this because it's the first year that they were both here at JMU. He was their biggest fan, biggest fan. So I think this is really important to him.
We do have something we want to show you guys.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna hand each of you one of these. You probably saw
Yes.
the video. I want you guys to focus on the buttons on Duke Dog's cape. And do you see 2 letters at all?
Oh, let me see them. My uncle was such a special person to me. I always talk to my mom about how these are the moments he would want to be. He would want to randomly come down for a football game and tailgate with us. He would want to have seen me and Nicholas walk across the stage. So just seeing that, he's still watching us somehow, somewhere. So it's really special.
As a kid, I always used to love bragging about him and what he could do because he was one of my 2 role models. Just knowing his name's out there and you can look him up and you can see him is such a amazing thing.
This just proves to me that I did pick the right place, and really he's you're right, you're where you're supposed to be. Just keep working.
Welcome back, everyone, to Bridgeport Stadium, one of the biggest halftimes you'll see here with the Marching Royal Dukes. Not only those that are current, but also the alums are back today as well. So a big, big band on a marvelous day.
"30 minutes in the books here at Bridgeport Stadium. Washington State leads over James Madison. One final 30 minutes, and that caps final non-conference game of the season.
Welcome back, everyone, to Bridgeport Stadium. The Hulk is in attendance. That's not Brian Barlow, by the way. he's Brian Barlow. But he would have had fun doing that, wouldn't he? Yeah. Hey, one of the things that welcome back, everybody. First of all, with Washington State leading 17-10. One of the things that Dave Holvey mentioned in the open was time of possession. And right now, you're looking at 19.5 minutes for Wazoo, 10.5 minutes for James Madison. It's also reflective on the scoreboard.
It was a tale of two quarters. JMU had the edge in the first quarter, didn't dominate. Wazoo dominated the second quarter. Let's just lay it out there. They had really great drives, and JMU's defense is having trouble getting off of blocks, tackling Zevi Eckhouse. He's scrambling. He's making plays. He's having a good game so far.
Let's see some of those plays. We got a highlights to rack up for you, and there is Eckhouse. Lofting a ball, that's a tough ball to get in there, but he drops it right in the bucket.
Steps up, throws a deep post for a touchdown here to Freeman. That was right after the interception, so kudos to him to really being resilient after a tough play.
And here's a tough run for him, Brian.
He's just doing all the things here. You know, deep ball, design runs, scrambles. He's having a great game.
So right now he is basically the superhero, if you would. And a couple of balls been batted around. Alonzo's not been on target. He's been a little high, sailing the ball a bit, and the defense is just swarming to the football.
Jesse Bobbitt, defensive coordinator for the Cougars, is having a great first half, especially the second quarter. Like we mentioned, they're getting all over Alonzo. The Dukes weren't able to run the ball. There's incomplete passes. They're tipping balls. This team is playing on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, and Bobbitt came with Jimmy Rogers, and they brought those 17 players. So, you know, he said, I want to bring a guy that knows what I want to do and has coached these Cougars into what they know, and they're executing it here today. Of course, they're going into the new pack, which starts its season next year. And we're seeing TJ Barksdale to return for James Madison as Washington State started the afternoon with the first possession of the day. Barksdale will watch it drift into the end zone, and he won't even touch it. Touchback, and JMU will start at the 25-yard line. Let's throw it down to field level as David had a chance to speak with coaches on both sides of the field. David?
Hey, Coach. Jimmy Rogers for Washington State felt like they did a really good job running the football. Defensively, they were sound. He did highlight we cannot give up any explosive plays for head coach Bob Chesney and James Madison. He said we have to stay up and tackle. They're running hard in 1-yard runs. They're turning into 4- and 5-yard gains. We have to get them behind the chains.
That's exactly what JMU wanted to do was, yeah, you make contact, but then what's the yards after contact, the yards after catch? You can yak it either way you want. But it is a 1st and 10 at the 25 for James Madison. And the ball will be kept by Alonzo Barnett, and that call was dialed up by Brian Barlow at the end of the first half as Caleb Fransel comes in to bring him down.
Alonzo Barnett, little zone read action. This is what they were missing in the first half. You know, getting that +1 action. Great way to start the second half by the Dukes.
James Madison has outscored its opponents 194-56 after halftime. Wazoo, on the other hand, has outscored its foes, or has been outscored by its foes 104-82. And that is wrapped up as coming in crashing on down was Leighton Smithison and Parker McKenna. So a loss on the first down play. And that was Wayne Knight. I was a little concerned. I hadn't seen Knight on the last couple of punts or kickoff, last couple of plays back there on special teams, maybe just giving him a little bit of a breather in what is a tough running day. Dukes will have the short side of the field with a couple of receivers. The tight end to the right now goes Sanchez, Jalon Sanchez. He'll set up to the right, and he'll come back across the formation. 6 on the play clock. Barnett straight back over the middle, and he finds his receiver, and that's Smoke Collins hauling one in. He had 2 catches for 13 yards yesterday, or excuse me, last Saturday rather. 5 catches for 42 yards and a touchdown on the season. Tucker Large brings him down. Smoke Collins with the reception. 3rd and about 3. Dukes in the first half, 1 out of 6 on third down conversions. Obviously an important drive for James Madison, an important play. Hard count, but Washington State catches its balance. Handoff to Knight. Knight picks up the first down and an additional yard. Frenzel stands him up. He had 2 tackles in the first half. Tucker Large has his 5th tackle of the day with that tackle earlier in this quarter. And Matthew Durant's with 4 tackles in the first half. Those are the leading tacklers for Washington State. First down at midfield. Wayne Knight to the right. Play clock down to 8. In motion, Wisłowski. Comes pressure over the middle. Knocked down. Coming across the pattern was Nick DeGennaro. Linebacker had dropped back in. Sullivan Schmilgen. Second down and 10.
Little play action there, and it looked like he had DeGennaro open and just came off his arm wrong a little bit there.
Landon Ellis went off last week with an injury and was questionable coming into today. Haven't seen him involved in anything yet this afternoon. Long throw. Sanchez tries to get to the first down. Look at all those Cougars that get in on the action. There's only one left on this side of the field as Tucker Large led the way. That was a tough throw. That's a long throw.
That is a really long throw from one hash to the opposite sideline on the RPO. Shows the confidence Alonzo Barnett has when he's throwing this football.
He does get the first down as the ball is at the 40 and a timeout.
Ruling on the field was a catch for a first down. Previous play is under video review.
Okay, so they will take a look at it. Colin Backert is our replay official today, and our replay communicator, Jay Hodgood. And the ball is in touch with the 40-yard line. So they will check the spot once again. Wayne Knight with 10 carries this afternoon. He has surpassed over 1,500 yards of total offense. Did that in the first half. Duke's finally over 100 yards of total offense, limited to 80. But again, the way that Washington State controlled the football, particularly in the second quarter, a big reason for the low mileage.
Jalen Sanchez made a few guys miss there. I can see why the review was initiated. It's right on the line here.
I thought in real time he might have been short just from up here in the broadcast booth, but the angle is just a little askew for
After
those
video
up here.
review, the runner was short of the line to gain. The ball be placed at the 41-yard line. Be third down.
Okay, so eyeballed it that way. Joby Mallory trot onto the field for the Dukes. This is a game, now Mallory's similar, but this is kind of a Jordan Fuller style game too, and the Dukes do not have Fuller today. He is a pounding downhill runner with some shiftiness and can get to the outside as well.
Yes, Fuller would deliver the blow if he was here suited up today.
Sanchez will tighten up the formation. They do have a receiver here to the near side at the 40. Showing some blitz off the corner edge. Barnett looking to the sideline. Plenty of time to get the play off. And they do so. And they give it to Mallory. And he picks up the first down as he goes to the right. Zach Greenberg, the center. Also on that side, of course, is Pat McMurtry. And a first down for the Dukes. Have not been that many of them this afternoon. That is 7 on the day, 13 thus far for Washington State. Handoff again to Mallory. Breaks a tackle or two, continues to rumble forward, and the tush push is good for a first down.
Man, James Madison showing their own toughness and hard nose and downhill running on this drive here.
I think if you're going to beat Washington State, that's exactly what you've got to do. You've got to match it. You got to match it +1.
Look at Toby Mallory, just keeps his feet going and then gets some help from his offensive lineman. Great first down.
Certainly a lot of yardage after the contact on that carry. They jumbo it up on the right side. Sanchez on the end with 2 tight ends to the right as well. That's the way they go with the football. It's Knight. Knight jukes his way, stays on his feet, almost gets back upright again, but he tumbles forward, a gain of 9.
These JMU running backs are starting to get those little extra yaks that you were talking about. Starts to get touched. There's that extra 2, 3, 4 yards that starts to pile up over the game, over a drive. You start to get more first downs, and you really start moving the ball.
This is a great opportunity here. You're in the red zone. You've got a second down and less than, well, a 2nd and 1, we'll say. So the playbook right now is pretty open. Of course, you got the end zone to work with. He'll pull it, does Barnett. Tries to get to the outside. He does pick up the first down. Anthony Polano catches up to him. Polano, beg your pardon, to the Polano family. Another transfer from South Dakota State, and he was a redshirt freshman. Ball marked at the 16-yard line. Still some sunshine, but we've got clouds over the stadium. Makes it a little chilly, even in the press box. At least in the broadcast booth. Barnett pulls it again. Ducks his shoulder. He only gets 1.
We've seen Barnett pull the ball on multiple plays on this drive. You can tell that was probably an emphasis at halftime.
Yeah, Fransel makes the tackle. JMU has had an awful lot of success here, particularly at Bridgeford Stadium over the years. Over the last decade, the Dukes have a 63-5 record at home, which include 4 unbeaten seasons. The Dukes are trying to keep it that way. Washington State wants to spoil the celebration. Handoff. Petaway cuts his way to the 10. Fransel upends him. 3rd down.
And when you watch George Petaway, he can get to top speed almost immediately. And you saw it right on that play. You know, it was he does his signature stance, which is very relaxed, and then a quick step, and he is top speed for, 5-yard carry.
Yeah, he's 0 to 60, isn't he? I mean, boom, he goes. It's like he's being launched off of an aircraft carrier. 3rd down and 4, make it 5. Dupree comes back. Here comes some pressure through the middle. And it depends on where they spot the football. DeGennaro with the reception, and it's good enough for the first down. Colby Humphrey makes the tackle.
Great job by Alonzo Barnett. You can see the pressure in his face. Finds the open man on the hot route, DeGennaro, for the first down.
And a timeout is called.
Ruling on the field is a first down. Previous play is under video review.
We're going to look at it again. The last time it favored Washington State. This time we'll see what the results might be. This is a drive, just counters what Washington State was doing in the second. No big plays, keeping the sticks moving.
You can see it's almost like his forward progression where wherever he initially caught that ball is right on the sticks there. And then he gets driven back a little bit.
So Brian, 13 plays on this drive, 69 yards, 7 minutes and 48 seconds. So the time of possession starting to get a little closer to even. And this all started at the JMU 25.
This has been a great game. Just trading blows here. Wazoo had the second quarter, and Dukes are really opening up this third quarter with a solid drive, and we'll see how they finish out here.
We're waiting for the officials to take a look at the spot. Washington State taking the lead with 48 seconds to go in the first half on an 11-play, 67-yard drive. The Dukes are the only team playing with the football here in the second half so far.
The runner was short of the line to gain. It'll be 4th down at the 7-yard line.
Big call right there. So 4th down at the 7.
Let's see what Coach Bob Chesney elects to do here.
They're going for, you know, last week against App State, he went on one of the possessions, he went for the field goal, and he said he was embarrassed that he actually did that. So here this week, in a ball game that's much closer, he's going to go for it.
Both linemen on both sides are licking their chops at this play right here.
Sanchez tightens up the formation just a bit. Mallory in the backfield. Mallory with the handoff. I don't know that he got it. I think Washington State stops the Dukes. And power on power, this time won by the Cougars.
Runner short of the line to gain. 1st down, Washington State.
So James Madison turns it over on a set of downs, and Washington State will have the football at the 7-yard line.
Looked like there might have been a little bobble when he caught the snap, which may have affected the timing of the handoff. Either way, great stop by the Cougar defense and Jesse Bobbitt. That was close there. Yeah, you could see how he never really caught the ball and just kind of just forced it in there. Not a true handoff, which may have affected timing of the entire play.
Absolutely. That was it, I think. So the first possession for Washington State, and stopped at the line of scrimmage. Coming up is Gannon Weathersby for his second tackle this afternoon as he stops Voorhees right there at the line of scrimmage. Well, the best thing for James Madison at this point would to get a 3 and out, of course, and there's a down Duke, and it is Weathersby. He just made the tackle, and he hasn't gotten off the turf yet. I think we're going to go to a timeout. I do believe, yes, we are going to a timeout. Needed a media timeout anyway, as JMU possessed the football just until recently here in the third quarter. Still a 17-10 score. And we'll be back with more from Bridgeport Stadium with a special guest in the house right after these messages. 17-10, Washington State has the football deep in its own territory as we return you back here to Bridgeport Stadium. And let's bring you up to the broadcast booth as we have a special guest with us here today, Matt Rohn, second-year athletics director here at James Madison University. Of course, Brian Barlow still with us here. Hulk is in the background here. We got it all going on. But thank you for joining us here, and we look forward to chatting with you on a number of subjects here on the next few minutes. That's right, absolutely. So let's check out what's going on down on the football field here. We saw Gannon Weathersby getting taken off the field, and we'll see if he can come back to the action. First of all, Matt, thank you again for joining us. How about this marble promotion going on today? You're wearing a Duke dog, and he's all marbled up. All right, hold on just a second, Matt. We're gonna switch out some headsets.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, I got you now. Okay.
Yeah, just a ton of credit to our team. Obviously, I don't want to interrupt the play, but Jeff Poglace, Melissa Wyant, just coming up with the idea, the execution, I think has been pretty flawless and helped pack the house today.
Second down and 10. First possession of the second half for Washington State, and running isn't much to work with down inside the 10-yard line, just a gain of 1 as Drew Spinagati gets in to make the tackle. So a third down for Washington State. Matt, this has just been a grind-em-out game for both of them. I don't know how much you get to watch when you're doing all of your AD duties, during a ball game, but this has been a power game.
Absolutely, and it's, there's no surprise to Coach Chesney and this staff, right? This is South Dakota State in Pullman, Washington, and we knew they were going to be physical offensively and defensively, and it's a big third down here for us and a chance to get a stop picking the ball back.
Yeah, third down and 9 at the 8-yard line. The tight end, Lechner, sits up to the near side. The handoff, it goes, and it's punched to the outside, and the second effort, just putting the shoulder pads down and picking up the first down, is Voorhees, and that is, again, Washington State football right there. The one-on-one situation, the downhill running, and the first down is good for Washington State. So the Dukes could not get and muster a 3-and-out on that occasion. Well, Matt, your second season here with James Madison, fully hired April a year ago, but JMU with its athletic program across the board still sustaining a lot of winning ways.
Yeah, and I was given the keys to something that was operating at a very high level, right? And so I've been at places where you're inheriting something and you're just fighting and clawing to get back to ground level. And I've been at places where you're maybe assuming at ground level and you can make a positive impact. But here, this thing was already on an incredible trajectory. My opportunity was to try to continue to keep that going, if not, kind of even steepen the incline. And because of the staff, because of the coaches that we have in place, and my predecessor deserves a ton of credit for the people that he had in place, and the fans, most importantly. Special place, special time to be here.
Well, Emmanuel Bush is hurt, and he needs tending to by the JMU athletic training staff. We need to get another commercial break in here. Stick around, Matt. We got some more questions and comments from you coming up as James Madison trailing Washington State. 4:24 to go in the third, 17-10 our score. break it here in the third quarter of action. And there you see, that's the other side of the stadium from which we are working on this year. We have been working on this side since the expansion in 2011, but this is kind of the future vision of what this stadium might look like. Where is this in the process, Matt?
Yeah, so what you see right there, right, is you see Sasaki's name in the corner, and they contracted with Populous, who has been involved in AUBC, been involved with some of the best athletics facilities in the country and in the world for that matter. And President Jim coming in, obviously a lot of that was concepts and cost estimates as part of the master plan. And him coming in now and putting his fingerprints on it, he really just wanted to say, let's make sure that we do it all right? Not just the stadium. How can we activate that 365 days a year? Let's look at this really mid-campus district, entertainment district, multi-purpose, and trying to build something that bridges the gap maybe better than it does today between Bluestone and East Campus.
Yeah, and you've got the Interstate 81 that splits this campus, which is kind of unique among campuses across the country, I would imagine. But that sounds neat because this really is the center of campus now, just even geographically speaking. This has become the heart of the campus in many ways. So I like that idea about just there's a lot of entertainment already here. So can you entertain folks even more? And then, of course, you got the Atlantic Union Bank Center on the other side. Here's the second down play. The flare out here, and it's smelled out and dropped for a loss. That should be for the Dukes. Culp coming in to make the tackle after Woods rumbles out of the backfield for the reception. Is there a timeline, or what are we looking at right now?
Yeah, so when you talk about this multi-use district, right, and entertainment, what does that mean? It's food and beverage. It's certainly academic spaces. It's a stadium. It's football operations. It's housing. It's and not just housing for our students, right? But is there apartments? Are there condos for people to come back to? And so one thing I've learned about President Jim is he doesn't let grass grow beneath his feet. And so I think 12 to 24 months from now, we're going to see some things start to really get moving.
Third down and long. Quarterback will keep it. West comes crashing on down. And that is a fourth down situation. Is nowhere to go for Eckhouse. And the punting unit will come on for Washington State. So it wasn't a 3 and out, but no additional first downs after the initial one on the drive. It's a great stop for James Madison, and the Dukes should get the ball in relatively good field position. Wayne Knight standing back at his 40-yard line for the Ryan Harris punt. Here's the punt. He gets it off. There was a little bit of pressure. Fair catch is called for, and Knight will corral it. That's important to catch that football because it looked like it had end over end and might have ended up all the way down at the 15-yard line. So a good catch. He is a punt catcher on that situation. James Madison will have the football for the second time in the third quarter. Boy, these possessions, they are few and far between. 6 to go in the third quarter. James Madison has just its second possession, as the Dukes will have the football at the 32-yard line. Kurt Dudley, along with Brian Barlow and Dave Hulvey, also still up here in the broadcast booth with us, is Matt Rohn, second-year athletics director. James Madison played a little football in his day as well out west. And Lonzo Barnett, oh, he's faking it. He's going to throw. He's got an open man. Wisłowski hauls it in. He's at the 20. Tries to stay on his feet. And he is into the end zone. What a play coming out of the timeout for James Madison. The big play, which is something that Washington State rarely gives up this year.
Kurt, I'm doing my best not to scream at the top of my lungs right now.
I understand. You did a wonderful job of tempering that. But he was jumping up and down, folks. He was waving his hands. He was very calm and composed. But a big play, and it all started with just faking it, the dive inside there initially, and then backing up for the time for it to develop and for Barnett to connect. A 68-yard touchdown toss. So much for the long grind 'em out drive. The extra point, the hold by Ray Sanchez with the PAT, and we are tied once again. We've been tied at 3, we've been tied at 10, now we're tied at 17, and we'll keep it right here this time. It looks like there's a flag down on the field as well. There's a conversation taking place. Wisłowski had his first touchdown and a great catch at Marshall 2 weeks ago. Really went up. Everybody was saying he was mossing all the dudes over there. He was doing a little Randy Moss. But here he comes up with his second to transfer.
The PAT is good. After the play, unsportsmanlike, number 56 for James Madison. Penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. That is number 56, first unsportsmanlike conduct foul.
Assuming that's Spignati, there's another 56, but I'm not sure if he is on that special teams or not. But Bob Chesney not looking too happy about that. If it's Spignati, then that's a concern because, well, that's his first, so he's still in the ball game. But he's been playing a lot at linebacker in that rotation today. Well, Matt, you have to, in the modern time. Okay, it was not then good. We got siding on it. Thank you. I see we got Matt up here. He's finding players for us. It was actually Jacoby Campbell, a redshirt freshman, that got a little too involved at the end, so it was not Spignati. Well, Matt, in the contemporary times of college athletics, it's a lot different than when you started to even work in this field. Yep. You know, the last 5 years has just been a dramatic change in many regards. There's still changes taking place. You have to really be creative. So I imagine every day you're thinking of new ways to raise money, to share revenue, NIL, all those things. What are those big challenges?
You know, it's keeping up, right? I mean, you talk about Marvel, right? There was a financial aspect of that, of, you know, NIL dollars, of trying to create licensing revenues, right? Of trying to create earned media revenues. You talk about that multi-use district, and you know, just how can we create revenue streams that are far more creative than what we currently have, just tickets and donations and sponsorships. But you know, Kurt, we think a lot every single day about, you know, how do we strike that fine balance of continuing to provide a phenomenal experience for our student athletes, continuing to provide a phenomenal experience for our fans when they come in here. And I do have to give a shout out to them to be 6 for 6 in sellouts this year, 8 in the third quarter. And I don't know that anybody's take this for granted what we had. You go around the Sun Belt and you see this, and you see kind of what you compete against, and we have it really, really good here, and every day we're just trying to think of ways to make it better.
I think it's also important to tell folks, too, is that, yeah, we're talking about a lot of big dollars, but the little dollars add up. You know, you put pennies in the bank every day, eventually you're going to have a full piggy bank. That is just as much important. And coming up, you have the Diggin' Dukes program.
100%. We always say, and maybe it's, you know, just a personal philosophy, but where I'm from, right, it's everybody doing everything that they can is what allows us to be successful. And Diggin' Dukes is a great example of that. One day, December 2nd, 24 hours of giving, 21 funds that you can commit to. Choose what you love. We can provide what our programs need. Sometimes these things are what they want. it's really that margin of excellence that we try to strive to create.
That first down catch hauled in by Maxwell Woods as the Cougars are back inside James Madison territory at the 44-yard line. Cougars flying all the way across the country for the second time, and a loss in the backfield. Tyler Brown shoots in to bring down Maxwell Woods. The tree did fall in the backfield, second down and long. He has had a really good season coming on here for James Madison. Talked so much about many of the other in the secondary, but he has been vitally important on the back half of that defense. Well, Emmanuel Bush just trotted back off. We went to a commercial break when he was tended to on the field, so good to see him back out there. Second down and about 14 at the 49. In motion goes Meredith. He'll come back this way. Here comes the blitz, shoveling it off and dislodged. That's an incomplete pass. He tried to get the ball to Tony Freeman, and I just mentioned Brown, he comes through there, the separation. West puts some pressure on, but there is a flag down on the play.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 5, blow to the head, automatic first down.
Oh, what a call. A big, big call. Here's Hedrick coming across, and they say it's a blow to the head. So that's an automatic first down. And it puts the ball all the way at the 34-yard line. Tough break for James Madison. And Trent Hedrick, a captain, a leader on this defense. Sometimes it's just football.
It looked like he was just almost trying to deflect the pass and follow through with his hand, and a little bit of incidental contact there, and it's unfortunate.
Two tight ends will shift to the left side, so a little imbalanced line. Low snap. He does get the handoff. And that goes to Johnson. And he is pushed back. And we may have another flag on the play.
Holding. Offense, number 23. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
All right, so the penalty giveth and the penalty taketh away. Oh, yeah, you can see it right there.
The 23 tackled him, right?
Pretty much, yeah. If he put him down, he could have got 2 points on a wrestling match for that one. Replay the down, however, so first down and 20. 41 seconds to go in this third quarter. Crowd getting into it. Eckhouse directing, looking, no one to throw to, and he's down at the 39. He got a piece of it back, but he's still got a long way to go. That may be the final play of this third quarter. Looks like it may be. Matt, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to let you go so you can go cheer, okay?
My pleasure. No, we signed up for this game 12 months ago. It's flown by, but right, we knew a Pac-12 opponent coming in here. It was going to be a tough test, and this fourth quarter is going to put that on display.
Matt, thanks again. Thanks for all you do for James Madison. We appreciate your time here in the booth today.
My pleasure every single day, and certainly today being with you up here in the booth.
Very good. Make that 3 quarters in the book here this afternoon. It is tied 17-17. We got a fourth quarter to work with here in the fourth at Bridgeport Stadium. Well, some of the crowd here at Bridgeford Stadium. The youngster. They keep up with what happens in pop culture, apparently, huh? All right, second down. Hi, Brian. Welcome back. Yeah. Welcome back, Brian. Do appreciate you having to give up your headset there for Mr. Roan. But a second down run up to the original line of scrimmage. And again, they were way behind the 6 because of a holding call. So James Madison, in essence, won that third quarter, 7-0. They're up to 216 yards of total offense now. Washington State 255, and that's somewhere in the, I can't remember the exact number, but somewhere in the low 20s that JMU has shut out has pitched a shutout quarter this year.
It's incredible.
Third down and 9. Lechner sets up, handoff. Voorhees pops it to the outside, hurdles his way to the first down. My goodness, what a play.
Wow, we haven't seen that from Voorhees yet. Usually it's downhill, put your head down and run over people.
He went over people. Like we said, this is a superhero's day, and he just took flight.
What a play. What an effort to get the first down. Something to note on this drive. There's been 30 yards and penalties against the Dukes, to include the kickoff and then the roughing the passer.
All that hidden yardage, right?
Yes, sir.
Scrambling, throwing, and that was, I'm not sure what it was. Was it completed? Yes, it was completed. Couldn't tell if it had skipped here to the near side, got screened out.
JMU's defensive line making Eckhouse scramble a little bit. Got a nice completion to Leon Neal Jr.
Eckhouse 16 for 24, 149 yards. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I guess the one thing, if you look, he is prone to throwing some interceptions from time to time. In motion goes Tony Freeman. The handoff to Voorhees. He works his way through. Down to the 14-yard line, or 15-yard line. And third down. Lamar Thomas helps to bottle him up. Coming off the huddle. Jaden Studio has come in for James Madison. The snap, the handoff, and it's fourth down. They come up shy. Washington State was saying first down, but the official here on the sideline immediately raced out and said no, fourth down. Well, Washington State had to stop right in this section of the field on a fourth down. A crucial play coming up for both teams.
Jacob Thomas came off the short end. They had 3 tight ends on the other side. Jacob Thomas came buzzing in to really slow down the runner from the backfield.
Washington State, it's the first charge of the half. 30 seconds and late.
So Washington State is going to use its first timeout here in the second half, for this is a big play looming in front. .11:36 to go, 17-17. Washington State on this drive, 8 plays, 25 yards.
We'll see what play Washington State cooks up here.
Well, when you got power, use power, right?
They've got multiple guys that'll do it, whether it's Eckhouse, Voorhees. They're both very downhill and falling forward.
They're going to follow Tripp, Lester, Dew, Vaipulu, and Hilborn, that offensive line. Here's the snap. The second effort is probably good enough to get it, and it is. Just stayed up, kept the feet churning, did Voorhees. Emmanuel Bush, although he's 348 pounds, not enough on initial contact to bring him down. Actually, I understand that Dew may be on the sidelines. We'll check in real quickly here with David Holby in just a moment. So that's Kyle Martin actually at center. Popping it to the outside, it's Woods. Tries to get the speed going, but he's caught. Tyler Brown tracks him down. All right, let's go down the sideline. David, what do you have for us?
Yeah, Kurt, the senior captain for Washington State, Brock Dew, he is done for the day on crutches on the sideline. It was late in the first half. He sustained a lower body injury, so that is important now. A new center in the game for Washington State.
Yeah, he hadn't had that many snaps here in the second half because James Madison has controlled the tempo or controlled the time of possession for the most part. You see Dew, a married man. They actually have 4 players on this squad who are married. Second down. They can pick up a first down. And incomplete. Justin Eaglin on the coverage. The intended receiver was true freshman Carter Pabst, who has 8 receptions for 162 yards out of Wichita, Kansas, Eisenhower High School. Third down, and I'm going to call it 10. They need a little bit more than 10 to pick up the first down. They'll need 12 and a half to break the plane of the end zone. 11 plays, still 25 yards on this drive. They have rushed the ball 8 times, passed it a couple in this drive. Now it looks like a passing situation, although Eckhouse may run out of this as well. Delay a game.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay. Third down.
Just makes it even harder on Washington State to cook up a play here. They can get a first down, like Kurt said, but third and long, they've had trouble with that throughout the year.
So certainly in field goal range. The season long for Jack Stevens is a 49-yarder. The snap, and nothing doing there. Shooting inside was West, and very little gain, so the field goal unit will come on. Jack Stevens is the kicker. He's spotting the ball at the 20, should be a 35-yarder from here.
Zaire West just getting off of blocks. This drive alone, he's made multiple impact plays.
Stevens with a field goal earlier today. 5 out of 6 from this range. It whirls up through, and it is good. Well, it wasn't pretty, but it doesn't matter. It still counts for 3, regardless of how beautiful it may or may not be. So 9:24 to go. Washington State has recaptured the lead 20-17 on a 13-play, 46-yard drive. Well, it's a field goal of 36 yards by Stevens, his second field goal of the day. And this, again, typical. I sound like a broken record, but 13 plays, 46 yards. Time of possession on that drive, 7 minutes, 44 seconds. So JMU has had a 7-minute plus here in this half. Washington State has done the same. JMU has also had a quick strike score.
In games like this, every possession is critical because you're not getting that.
At the end line, Petaway will bring it out, stumbles, crashes into a couple of Cougars. Here comes a flag on the back end of the play. We'll sort that out, then I think we're going to take another media timeout.
Holding. Return team, number 16. Be a 10-yard penalty. We'll be playing first down.
All right, so when we come back, James Madison will have the football, down by 3. Once again, 9:18 to go. And James Madison Athletics is mourning the passing of Hall of Fame men's soccer coach Bob Vanderwalker, coached the Dukes for 16 years. He was 89, died last Monday. Cougars 20 and Duke 17 here in the fourth quarter, 9:18 to go. The way this game's been going, you might have maybe a possession each left. We'll see how that kind of plays out. And of course, this game is because of the Pac-10 being poached and a lot of teams becoming coast-to-coast teams, of course. So this is what the new Pac-12 will look like. I should have said Pac-12 earlier, but you get my point. You can't go by numbers or geography anymore when it comes to leagues. But there is the new, you have to have state at the end of your name unless you're Gonzaga, and there you have to have good basketball, right? So those are the teams that are going to make up the new Pac-12 as of July 1, 2026. And they've played a number of those teams this year. All right, so James Madison at the 14 to start this possession. This is a big possession, of course, for both teams. Play action pass, Barnett. Coming out of is Dupree. He tries his super hurdle, and Francel upends him. That wasn't quite as graceful as Voorhees, but still trying to get the job done.
Dakota Dupree, the big fella, tight end, almost hurdles him.
Yeah, he hit the hurdle bar trying to go up. But he does pick up 4.5, so second down and a long 5. Wayne Knight in the backfield with Barnett. He takes the football from Barnett this time and rumbles forward, gains about 2.5 yards. So a third down play coming up. James Madison trailing in the fourth quarter for the first time since Louisville. Today's attendance, 25,156. A little smaller than Giesa Field, home of Washington State. They see 32,952 there, but you did see that expansion is in the plans here at Bridgeforth. Bouncing it to the outside, but a nice tackle. Mallory tries to get it out there, and it is a first down just by a shade. Wow.
Francel did a good job there getting him down. Just Mallory had just enough effort to get across the sticks for the first down.
This has been a downhill game in a lot of regards, with just enough wrinkles to keep some of these drives alive. New set of downs for the Dukes. Long count. Here's the snap. Greenberg to Barnett over the middle. It is caught. Wesloski backs in. Oh no, make that, beg your pardon. That was Kyle coming up with a catch for James Madison. Matthew Durant's.
Alonzo Barnett just threading the needle with the little skinny post by the tight end Logan Kyle. Kyle made a second effort there to really hold on to that ball, knowing the safeties are right there. Great pass and catch.
Got a bunch formation here to the right. We've seen the Dukes put 4 in those situations, and here goes Knight on the move. He's alone out there, although he's finding no, he doesn't. He overshoots Wesloski. He was open. You did have the corner coming in. That was Kenny Worthy, the third.
Alonzo had plenty of time back there as well. The offensive line doing a great job keeping that pocket clean. Just sailed the ball a little bit.
Sailed on him. Second down and 10. Wesloski goes in motion that direction again. This time the handoff goes to Knight. He's got a big hole. He's heading to the 40, to the 30. He's going to make it to the end zone. The streamers will fly at James Madison. Touchdown, JMU.
Just an inside zone, and the gates opened up. Wayne Knight untouched to the end zone.
2 big plays for James Madison. Big strikes. The touchdown long toss of 62 yards to Wesloski. And now this.
Look at the patience. There was a little hesitation, just letting the blocking mature and develop just a little bit more, and then the hole opened.
That's a 58-yard scamper for Knight. What did I say earlier about he has the capability in a game like this? 3, you make it just get 2 or 3, but every once, boom, you can hit the seam and go. A very important point after, as that puts the spread at 4, 24-20. And the Dukes over 300 yards of total offense, and credit those 2 big plays. Here comes Wayne Knight heading towards his home locker room with a celebration in the end zone. Dukes out on top. James Madison 24-20 on the 8th touchdown of the season by Wayne Knight. Let's take a look at some other scores we may have for you. Old Dominion has played really well. They had a little bump in the road in the middle of the season. Look what they're doing to Georgia Southern here, 45-3. Marshall over App State, 21-16. That's a rivalry game. Goes back to the old SoCon days. South Alabama early out on Southern Miss. And then later today you see the other matchups. Coastal Carolina, that's kind of a big brother, big sister brawl. Or let me rephrase that. Big brother, little brother brawl between the Chanticleers and the Gamecocks. If you go to a baseball game between those two, sit on the third base line and you will see what I mean. Whew, it gets a little heated. No return on the carry. So that drive for the Dukes, 6 plays, 86 yards, 254. And Knight with the 58-yard run.
Just an explosive response by James Madison after being down 20-17 there. The teams are going blow to blow. It continues.
All right, but here you've got 6:24 to go. Washington State, a grind them out type team. Well, they did have one explosive play of their own as the Cougars connected on a long touchdown toss. Tony Freeman bringing it in from Eckhouse. Eckhouse going to flare it out here to the right side. It is hauled in and out of bounds. Eaglin with the tackle as the ball is brought in by a freshman, Carter Pabst. High school first team All-Stater out of Wichita, Kansas.
Zaire West with the tip there. Still made it to the receiver, able to make a grab.
A gain of 5 on the play, 2nd and 5. Eckhouse 17 out of 26 for 159 yards. This is the handoff. Voorhees. So here West drops him. Gain of only 2 on the play. It looked like that got carried a little further. He must have got a knee down and then took a second effort to take it another yard. There's West. Marching Royal Dukes. Crowd has really stayed into this game, but there have been many games played here this year where the fourth quarter game was well in decision for James Madison. This is a 3rd down. A handoff. Oh, it is bottled up. Look at all the purple jerseys that got right in and wedged in. A lot of folks could get credit for that one.
Just filling the run gaps. People getting off blocks. There's just nothing there.
I'll tell you who had it. Jaden Studio, the linebacker, probably had as much to do with the running back coming down as did anyone. But you got to give credit for your defensive lineman for digging out the holes. In motion goes Meredith. Rolling out Eckhouse. Eckhouse completes the pass to Meredith for the 1st down. Drew Spinagatti catches up to him. He's in double-digit tackles this afternoon.
Man, 4th down play there. Quickly lined up, did a little sprint out, hit their guy, Meredith, to get the 1st down.
They have been really good actually on 4th downs this season. Coming into today's game, 11 for 14 and 1 out of 2 here today. So much better than 50%, way over the top actually. Play action real quick. Here comes some pressure, floating it out, trying to run underneath it. Was Jeremiah Noga, who has been quiet today. It'll fall for an incomplete pass, 2nd down and 10.
Trent Hendrick with the blitz. And slowed down when he got to the quarterback after learning his lesson a little bit earlier after that roughing the passer. Great play, causing the incomplete pass.
Eckhouse with 166 yards passing today. Puts him over 1,400, actually puts him over 1,500 on the season. Here's your snap, quick throw, Oh, I thought he was going to pull that ball in. It looked like Trey Lechner was going to do a magic trick and make that catch.
Oh, he almost pulled that in one-handed. Would have been a SportsCenter top 10. I can't expect him to make that catch.
You need a little Spider-Man web on that one. Lock it in. 3rd and 10. 3:49. Clock stopped on the incomplete pass. In motion. This is Freeman. That's where they go in that direction. It is going to Freeman, and he is stopped well shy of the first down, driven back. Ball will get spotted at the 45-yard line. DJ Barksdale, Justin Eaglin, they converge for the tackle.
That was a long pass from the opposite hash to the hitch there. This is 4-down territory from now on.
Actually, I stand corrected. They're 2 for 2 on 4th downs. Said it just a moment ago. It was 1 for 2, so a little adjustment. Here we go. Freeman again in motion. Straight back. Here comes the blitz. He eludes Thomas. Throws down the field. It is incomplete. No flags. DJ Barksdale on the coverage. And James Madison will take over at the 45-yard line of Washington State with 2:58 to play.
Coach Hischler's defense put the pressure on Eckhouse. He had to scramble to get out there. And also in the back end, Barksdale had him covered. There's just nothing open. Great play by the defense.
Yeah, credit. Put a star around Thomas, who came off the edge and forced the play, breaking up the timing just a bit, but still give Eckhouse credit for putting it out there where he had a chance. He definitely had a chance. .258 to go. Handoff goes to Knight. Tries to get to the outside. Cuts it up inside. Running side to side. He does pick up 3 on the play.
Timeout, Washington State.
Yeah, Washington State.
Timeout, Washington State. First charge of the half.
No, that's their second.
30 seconds.
Didn't they take?
Correction. Second.
That's what I thought. They took one early. So 1 timeout remaining for Washington State. James Madison has all of its timeouts. Right now, JMU's not going to use any. There is Coach Rogers. And I think he might be talking about that into the play here with Barksdale. He didn't get his head around, but he got his hand up, right? Eh.
It was a good play.
Sorry, something on the video board caught my attention.
Tarps off is all over the place.
They need to put that tarp back on. 2nd down and 8. Barnett, opens it up. He's at the 35 and inside he picks up a 1st down. Frenzel brings him down.
What a great play call by offensive coordinator Dean Kennedy. You know they were going to run it, but
timeout, Washington State.
Haven't seen the quarterback design run like that.
30 seconds.
Up the middle. Had 2 linemen lead blocking for him. Little patient there, made guy miss to get the 1st down. What a play by Alonzo Barnett.
Yeah, but Barnett, that's his 6th carry today. And he has just 24 yards. But he's had a couple of them that have been.
This second half there's been some key plays where he's just gotten just enough for the 1st down compared to the first half.
And you go back to where we were talking about why Eckhouse is a starting quarterback for Washington State. A similar situation here with Barnett in this regard, with the ability to throw the football, of course.
Just adds a whole other element to your game. and it's hard to defend.
All right, the Dukes, they're about a first down away from putting this one away. And Barnett will do it again. This time he'll cut to the outside, jumps to the inside, doesn't pick up the first down, but he does pick up 8 or 9. Tucker Large, who has been all over the field today for the Cougars, brings him down, but second down and a long 2 for JMU. And again, they will start to watch his clock go down. There is the 2-minute timeout coming up. But the Cougars cannot stop the clock until that point, which is part of the game management. JMU is going to walk to this side of the field. And for Washington State, they're seeing the same thing they've seen many times this year. Very close ball games. Not over yet.
2-minute timeout.
What do you got to do to win a ball game? 24-20, the 2-minute timeout has arrived. The crowd has stayed on the final game of the regular season at Bridgeforth Stadium. Everyone to Bridgeforth Stadium. We're glad that you're along with us here on ESPN Plus. I'm sorry you weren't here to enjoy the ball game, and particularly with all the festivities, the Marvel Comics. The intro for the team was just out of this world here today. Here's the standings in the East. Of course, James Madison last week with the win over App State, and they got a little help. Coastal Carolina lost on the road to Georgia Southern last week. So that dropped the Chanticleers 5-2 and essentially clinched the East Division for the Dukes. Again, we feel very confident that JMU will host it, regardless of what happens out in the West. As also last week, Southern Miss took a loss. And there goes Wayne Knight, nearly picked up the first down. And I think he does. He does. And James Madison looking at a double-digit win, as there's the Ergie's cheesesteak first down call, 24-20. Double-figure wins again for this program. 6 of those have come since 2016. And the crowd chanting CFP as they go into the victory formation. Well, the students that stayed, the fans that stayed, it was worth the wait.
It was a great
for
ball
them.
game.
It's a good college ball game, no doubt about it. In fact, they're already starting to shake some hands down there on the playing field. It was a tough game, and this one thing I think this shows me, Brian, is JMU can win in a variety of ways.
They can. This is quite different than last week, where it was a blowout, just to be honest. And then this week, it was back and forth through adversity, turnovers, penalties, and this is probably the toughest defense they've played all year. Hats off to Jimmy Rogers and them. A brand new team, 75 new players, and you can see why they went down to the wire with an Ole Miss, with a UVA, and now they're third ranked down to the wire against a James Madison.
They will return home and they'll face Oregon State for the second time this season. They lost to the Beavers 10-6, 10-7 that is, on November 1st, but at the end of that game, Coach Rogers said, "I'll be happy to see them again." They were looking forward to it. Streamers tossed out. The Dukes will celebrate. Win number 9 in a row, number 10 on the season, double-digit victories once again for this program that has just been remarkable in sustaining success through a number of coaches over that time as well. As the fireworks on display, and I guess the way to summarize this one, a marvelous win for JMU.
Nice. Yes, it is. Let's take a step back. There's a Pac-12 team that came to Bridgeforth, and JMU, who is ranked, just went blow to blow and beat them. I mean, this program is on a trajectory that is going high, fast, and it's really impressive through various athletic directors, various coaches. It's impressive.
Speaking of coaches, Bob Chesney, the victorious coach for James Madison, is on the middle of the field, standing on the JMU logo with our own David Halvey.
Coach, you've had close games this season. You have come back in the second half, but this was a much different competition. You talked about the toughness of Washington State. To turn things around like you did in that last 30 minutes, how proud are you?
Yeah, as advertised, we knew it was going to be this game. You listen to, their coach talk about their team or talk about us, same way we talk about them. Two tough, physical teams that were going to grind it out here in moments and then take shots when it mattered the most. And, luckily we were able to convert on a few of ours. And I thought Wiz back at the end zone, huge play. The fourth down stop, when we needed it the most here at the end. And I think they did a great job calling the game, and, they kept us on our toes the whole game. And overall, just a hard-fought game as advertised.
I know you have a lot of football left. Crowd was chanting CFP for this team. For you, in the sense of beating a team like Washington State in the fashion that you did it, do you feel this was sort of a statement game for those future things?
I think it's a statement about the way we play football, period. And I'm not on a committee. I know getting a lot of people to agree on the same thing is really challenging to do in society in general. But at the same point in time, I think that you watch these guys, they find ways to win all kinds of different games. And, I told you way back in week 2 after that Louisville game, I said the fibers of a championship football program are in here. We just got to continue to take the steps and get better each week, and we continue to do that.
Gannon goes down. Drew steps up. He ends up with 16 tackles in this game. To see him compete like he did, how proud are you, Drew?
Animal, absolute animal. Like, the kid just plays a relentless, aggressive style of football. And I've known him for a little while, known his family for a little while, obviously from our days at Holy Cross. But he's a warrior, man. He is a warrior, no doubt about it.
Coach, appreciate you. Heck of a win.
Come on, Spinny.
All right. Those two guys will embrace. And I think David is going to try to catch Bengati, who caught a lot of Cougars today. Go ahead, David.
Appreciate you, Kurt. This was a battle. And in the first half, Coach Chesney told me they were a tough group. They were getting about 4 to 5 yards on what maybe should have been 1-yard runs. This defense responded in that second half. Why?
We just work as a group. Coach defense coordinator preaches a lot about just fighting till the end. No matter what happens, we're going to work as a brotherhood, do it for the seniors tonight on senior night. And we just come out better than, just come out stronger every single time around the field. It's amazing.
Gannon goes down. You step up. You finish with 16 tackles in this game. To have your number called and to deliver in those big moments, you stop them on 4th down. How much does it say your preparation was ready for this game and this team was ready for a win like this?
Yes, sir. The coaches do great preparing us every single week. You know, no matter who's on the field, who's starting, everyone's ready to go. Everyone's ready to go, just waiting for the opportunity. And I just waited for my opportunity, and I made the most of it. And I'm just so proud of myself, so proud of this team. And I just want to continue to keep going far.
Sure, we appreciate you. Congrats on the win.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, David, for your fine work down on field level, and just congratulations to both programs. Of course, for Washington State, they'll head back to Pullman 5-6, still with a chance to get a bowl if they can beat their rival Oregon State next week. And for James Madison, going to 10-1, 9 consecutive wins. They wrap up the regular season next week, and that is at Coastal Carolina. 3:45 is that ball game. That is a game, even though JMU has won the East, still has relevance because they're still in the conversation for the CFP. So it's not just, let's just go out here and relax. They got to still focus. But I like the way Bob Chesney he does a unique way of deflecting these things about CFP and all of that. He matter of facts it, in many regards.
He did, and he is a master of that. He deflected it, but he also answered it.
Yes.
He did say, look at, this team is resilient. Just look how they play and look how they've responded. Washington State they're going to be a good program. That defense was really tough. But yes, JMU, they've talked about it when we've talked about it. They have big goals this year, and everything is still in front of them.
No doubt about it. They've got really destiny as their own to try to grasp. Brian, thanks again. Appreciate your help today. It's been great for the last couple of games. Enjoyed it here in the booth with you. Do want to give a couple of other credits out there. Chris Brooks, the Sports Information Director for football here at James Madison. Bill Stevens at Washington State. Safe travels to him and his crew. Caden Bridges, Kate Carrier, Lanza Barnett, SB Ellis, all helping us out here. Our producer today, Kelly Bowmaster, John Hodges, our director, Daryl Atchison, our engineer, Ty Comer on replay, Chris Jackson, our audio, and Leah Wolf on our graphics this afternoon. All the crew, the camera operators, everyone from the JMU Sports Network. Fine job all season long. We still got basketball to do, including tomorrow at 2, JMU and Virginia Tech. So for David Halvey, Brian Barlow, I'm Kurt Dudley saying so long, everyone, from Bridgeport Stadium. James Madison in the fourth quarter comes back to win 24-20 over the Cougars of Washington State. This has been a presentation of the JMU Sports Network for the Sun Belt Conference and ESPN+.